guess the right answer.
Okay.
From the following water safety measures, guess which one is correct. Number 1, always warm up before swimming or going in the water. Number 2, enter the water slowly and wear a life jacket. Number 3, never go beyond the designated swimming area. Number 4, call 119 or a lifeguard on duty if you witness drowning.
뭐지? 1번도 맞고 2번도 맞는 것 같은데.
Time is running out.
The answer is all of the above.
That is correct. All of these options are important in order to safely enjoy water activities.
If you keep them in mind, you're bound to have a great and safe summer.
Stay with BEFM this summer for a responsible beach season.
김밥 가게 박 사장님도, 문구점 김 사장님도, 우리 부산의 경제를 움직이는 사람들. 우리 동네 작은 가게로 향하는 발걸음이 우리 부산의 경제를 키워가는 한 걸음입니다. 부산 방송광고 발전 협의회.
The time is now 7 o'clock.
The big summit between South Korean President Lee Jae-myung and U.S. President Donald Trump is right around the corner, as President Lee departed for Washington, D.C. yesterday, and apparently he has arrived. So what's on the table? Well, tariffs, troop deployments, nuclear cooperation in North Korea, they are the main agenda items. At least that's what it looks from the outset. Some contentious issues that might be included are things involving trade, especially in shipping semiconductors, nuclear reactors, and batteries. So this U.S. visit is right on the heels of Yi's summit with the Japanese Prime Minister on Saturday. And so these diplomatic visits will lay the groundwork for the next few years of the Yi administration. I'm Catherine. This is Morning Wave in Busan on Monday, August 25th on BEFM, 부산영어방송. Good morning, Wavers. I hope you had a wonderful weekend and are ready to begin our Monday morning together. Well, it's been an all-hands-on-deck situation for the South Korean government as we count down to the first summit between President Lee Jae-myung and U.S. President Donald Trump. Foreign Minister Jo Hyun went to Washington, D.C. early, bypassing the scheduled events in Japan. And it seems that this early departure was to meet with the U.S. Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, on Friday local time. The two top diplomats agreed on the meaning and importance of the first summit. And Rubio said that he expects the summit to be constructive and productive, bringing wins for both countries. Rubio said that President Lee visiting Japan ahead of the U.S. was a wise decision and pledged U.S. efforts to strengthen this trilateral cooperation. Then the Minister of Trade, Industry, and Economy, Kim Jong-un, departed for the U.S. the following day. Kim went with Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick and Energy Secretary Chris Wright. And prior to this, top trade negotiator Johan Gu met with his counterpart, U.S. Trade Representative Jameson Greer. And then finally, yesterday, the Presidential Chief of Staff Kang Hoon-seok arrived in Washington, D.C. Actually, it's rare for the Presidential Chief of Staff to visit the U.S. in this capacity. In fact, the top three presidential aides, the senior secretaries for policy, security, and the Chief of Staff are all in D.C., which Kang said was a sign that the top office is going all out. And pundits say that this situation of dispatching two ministers, the trade negotiator, and even the top aides ahead of the summit for agenda discussions shows just how intense the push and pull may be. And this summit, once again on the heels of trade negotiations and ongoing talks of modernizing the chorus alliance won't be just about formalities and pomp and circumstance. It may and likely will involve fierce negotiations about national interests by most accounts. So the summit is scheduled for Monday local time, and the preparation work will be just as intense. It's going to be intense until the moment this summit opens. And of course, we're going to report everything we know to all of you, the listeners out there. And now, this text topic is related to a story we're going to talk about later on. So what kind of regional specialties or souvenirs do you get when you travel? What delicacy do you recommend from your hometown? 자, 여러분은 여행 가면 어떤 특산물, 기념품 사오시는지, 그리고 본인이 추천하는 우리 지역 기념품은. So I know some of you are definitely not from Busan, so I want to hear all about, the bragging about your hometown, what you would recommend to visitors. Well, you can send in your messages to BEFM's live stream live chat on YouTube. Go to the YouTube platform, type in BEFM or 부산영어방송 to find our channel. You can subscribe, log in and chat with other waivers. From your phone, pound 9050 shop 900. That's going to cost you 101. You can also reach me for free through Kakao Talk. To find us, same thing there. Type in BEFM or 부산영어방송 to find us, and then to add us as a friend first. And then you can send in your messages and photos too. The ways you can tune into Morning Wave in Busan, obviously through the radio, 90.5 and 103.3 FM. That's if you're in the Busan area. Like I said, we're streaming live right now on YouTube. You can check us out later, however many times you want, at your leisure. And of course, we're available on the BEFM app and also the Papang app. Looking ahead to our Monday morning together. In hour number 1, we have Michael Kang. He's coming in for Cultural Interlude. And then in hour number 2, we have Claire with News in Depth. For our special interview today, we're going to be focusing on South Korea's Yellow Envelope Act. And there's been a lot of push and pull on this as well, especially from the businesses. What does this really entail? What is this going to change here in Korea? Let's find out with our expert in hour number 2. I'll be back with news overview. It's now 7:06 and this is News Overview. President Lee Jae-myung arrives in U.S. for summit with Trump. President Lee Jae-myung has arrived in Washington, D.C. ahead of his planned summit with U.S. President Donald Trump scheduled for tonight, Korea time. National Assembly passes pro-labor yellow envelope bill. The National Assembly passed a controversial pro-labor yellow envelope bill, which expands workers' rights in a 183-3 vote after a filibuster. Special counsel files for arrest warrant against Han Duck-soo. The special counsel led by Cho Eun-suk has filed an arrest warrant against former Prime Minister Han Duck-soo for his alleged aiding and abetting in former President Yoon Suk-yeol's martial law declaration. Presidential envoy visits China with letter for Xi Jinping. President Lee Jae-myung's special envoy led by former National Assembly Speaker Park Byung-seok has arrived in Beijing and met with China's foreign minister to deliver Lee's personal letter for Chinese President Xi Jinping. President Zelensky vows to fight for freedom on Ukraine's Independence Day. President Volodymyr Zelensky said Ukraine would continue to fight for its freedom and a just peace in an Independence Day address. And this was News Overview. Welcome back, everybody. It's now time for Now Busan. We have Sejin in the studio. Let's say hi first. Happy Monday.
Hi.
Well, let's dive into our text topic first. So we want to hear what kind of souvenirs or maybe specialties you like getting when you're visiting somewhere else, and then vice versa, what you might recommend, to visitors coming to your neck of the woods.
First, I want to get, when I go abroad, I tend to buy some clothes from each country.
Ooh.
So it transports me to that place whenever I in Busan or in Korea, back in Korea. Then I bring back those clothes, and then whenever I wear this, it just transports me to that scene and that country.
I see. Very interesting.
And this souvenir, Busan souvenir, I would say soju.
Oh.
So we have certain brand of soju.
Locally, yes.
Yeah. So that one.
So that's what you would recommend. Interesting. Well, thank you. 709, Soju coming up in the conversation. No, I fully get it. We're going to jump into our first story. And so it looks like Gangseogu district is about to get a lot more credit and maybe more educated.
Yeah, by 2029, Busan City is building 15 schools in Ecodelta City, Gangdong-dong Gangseogu, Busan. This Ecodelta City is built as an artificial intelligence AI-based smart city and will have 30,000 households by 2028. And of course, more homes mean more families and more kids who need schools.
Yes, so let's talk about what's already open.
They opened Yeol Preschools, Daejeon Jungang Elementary School, and Garak Middle School back in March. And more schools are on the way. Last month, the new establishment of Eco 3 preschools, Eco 3 elementary schools, and Eco 1 middle school, aiming to open in 2029, passed the Central Investment Review. Those are to be designed in August 2026 and completed in December 2028.
I see. So let's take a kind of an overview. What's the full breakdown?
So by 2029, the city is aiming to open 5 preschools, 5 elementary schools, 3 middle schools, 1 high school, and 1 special education school. The Busan City Office of Education is building 3 to 4 schools every year, starting this year to accommodate the growing number of students in Ecodelta City.
So obviously this part of our city is thriving. So thanks for letting us know about this one. Next up, I hear that there was an accident. Can we hear about this?
Yep, there was an accident near Ilkwang Beach in Gijang County in Busan. So basically what happened was 2 female divers who were cousins were found in cardiac arrest at around 10 a.m. Saturday 23rd.
I see. We need the details.
They were rescued by a nearby leisure business staff, received CPR and other emergency treatment, and were transferred to hospital, but both later passed away.
Oh my goodness. Anything noteworthy from this story?
According to Ulsan Coast Guard, they were local resident and had gone out to collect seafood with another diver at around 7 a.m. that morning. They were wearing diving suits at the time of the rescue, and there was no sign of injuries.
Okay.
The diving tools they used were also found around.
I see. So if I understand this story correctly, in total there were 3 divers and 2 of them did pass away. What about the 3rd diver? Is she okay?
She's alright, just she didn't realize anything was wrong and only came up from the water around 11 a.m. Authorities are looking into various possibilities as they investigate the cause.
What a tragedy to hear about this, about divers who have passed away. But yes, nonetheless, we do have to report on it. So thanks for sharing the news. All right, next, what's on the agenda?
More and more Taiwanese tourists are falling in love with Busan.
Well, I don't blame them. So do we have any numbers to back this up?
Of course. According to Airline Industry and 23, 60 to 70% of passengers on Korea-based flights between Busan and Taiwan are Taiwanese nationals. From January to July of this year, the average rate of Taiwanese passengers on Air Busan flights traveling between Busan and Taiwan was 71%. And on the Busan-Kaohsiung route, more than 80% were Taiwanese. So compared to last year, the number of flights increased by 23%, and the number of passengers increased by 25%.
So some might think, isn't that unusual for a Korean airline?
Very. As an Air Busan official put it, the percentage has steadily increased by year after year. And it's quite rare for a national airline to carry this many foreign passengers.
And is this also reflected in the tourism statistics?
You got it. In 2023, around 13% of Taiwanese tourists coming to Korea visited Busan. But that's gone up to 16% in 2024. And in just the first half of this year, it rose to 23%.
Wow. So if I remember correctly, the whole idea of Taiwanese tourists, didn't it top the tourist, like foreigner list in Busan last year as well?
They did indeed. Last year, it was over 500,000 ranking first among foreign tourists for the first time.
Yes.
It almost doubled compared to about 250,000 people in 2023.
I see. So what's driving this surge?
Apparently, more direct flight route and a lot of word of mouth on Taiwanese social media. And a tourism industry official also said Taiwanese people who are interested in eating out culture
Yes.
seem to be very interested in Busan's food, such as pork soup rice, sea hot dog, and seafood.
I see. So 돼지국밥 definitely up there. So what are the airlines doing to accommodate?
Well, airlines are taking new or additional flights from Busan to Taiwan. EVA Airlines, the second largest after China Airlines in Taiwan, will operate a new Busan-Taipei route. And Jeju Air is bringing back its Busan-Kaohsiung service.
So definitely sounds like Busan is the top destination for many Taiwanese travelers. Thanks for reporting on this. And now let's talk about this heartfelt thank you letter that's really touched people here in Busan.
Yeah, a married migrant from Vietnam wrote Buku District this letter after getting to visit her home country for the first time in 10 years.
Really? So let's hear about what she said.
It was something like, "It had been so long, but I was finally able to hug my parents and show my children where I came from." That line came from a letter written by Vietnamese woman named Katu Hong, now living in Kupodong, Busan.
Oh, so let's talk about the trip. What made the trip possible?
She took part in Buku's home country visit support program for multicultural families.
Yes.
Its new initiative launched this year to help married migrants reconnect with their families abroad.
Which is, of course, very necessary. Did she say anything else?
Yes, after visiting Vietnam, she left a letter of thanks to Buku District. She wrote, "Caring for her children meant I had long been unable to travel. I couldn't visit my home country for a long time, so my heart was always heavy." And she asked for continued support so that other multicultural families can adjust well and can truly feel at home here in Korea.
Right. So this is an important point. You know, the emotional connection, of course, does matter, especially for families living far away from, you know, where they were born or where they're from.
According to Buku, they select 9 families, 30 people in total, who hadn't visited their home countries in the past 2 years, and help with flight costs and travel insurance.
Okay.
Buku District Mayor Oh Tae-won said they will continue to pay attention to these families.
Well, these are the kind of policies that make our city even better, feel like home. So thanks for reporting on all the local news. And of course, we'll check in with you tomorrow. So thank you, Sajin.
Thank you so much.
All right. I'll be back with your your traffic and weather.
Good morning.
Good morning.
굿모닝입니다.
Good morning.
좋은 아침입니다.
Morning wave in Busan.
Morning wave in Busan.
Morning wave in Busan.
Major news, local buzz, and expert takes. It's all here on Morning Wave in Busan. Brighten up your morning commute with Morning Wave in Busan.
Morning wave in Busan.
It is now 7:17. Here's your traffic report. The Dongso overpass looks congested right now from the Hwangryong ramp to the old Gaegeum toll gate. It's backed up on Gwanmun-daero from Pangnam Tunnel to Baekyang Tunnel. That top portion of the Gwangan Bridge going towards Namcheon is backed up as well. It's looking slow from Manduk intersection to Namhae Expressway, Kupo Nakdonggang Bridge, and also slow on the Lino Samsung-daero from Myeongji Underpass to Shinho Bridge. Currently, it's 26 degrees Celsius under sunny skies here in Busan. It's going to go up to 32 today. Busan City is under a special heat wave report, 폭염특보. Across the nation, another hot one with daytime highs surging up to 37 degrees in some areas. But showers are also forecast for most of the country with up to 80 millimeters across 2 days in the capital area. This was your traffic and weather. It's time for Top Stories. We have Haley in the studio. Let's greet her first. Good morning.
Good morning.
I hope you had a good weekend.
I did. I got together with some friends because two of them had babies.
Ooh.
So yeah, and then another brought her toddler. So lots of babies.
Baby Fest.
Baby fest.
Minus for Haley, though.
None are mine.
Yes.
Which, whew.
You're just the emo, right?
I was the emo. Yeah, I was the baby holder, babysitter. Yeah, that was fun. That was fun.
Okay, so today we're talking about regional specialty souvenirs. What do you collect anything? Do you like a particular thing?
We have as a family, we have a display case of our knickknacks from travels. I really do like refrigerator magnets, but we have one of those refrigerators that are not magnetic.
Yes.
So only on the side. So we have a clutter of magnets on the side. I do like to buy little pieces of art and mostly in postcards form because they do have postcards featuring local artists that I do like to collect. But I do need to do something with them because right now they're just sitting in a box, not on display. But just slapping them on the wall seems so freshman dorm room. So I'm trying to find the more sophisticated adult way of displaying them. Yeah, taking ideas. Anyone.
Okay. Yeah, suggestions welcome. Well, we're going to jump into the top story for right now. We're going to go to the summit between President Lee Jae-myung and Japanese Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba.
Right, so we're of course all waiting for the first summit between President Lee Jae-myung and U.S. President Donald Trump. But in the meantime, on Saturday, the first standalone summit between President Lee Jae-myung and Japanese Prime Minister Ishiba Shigeru took place. So the meeting took place across almost 2 hours, resulting in a joint press statement. And this is significant because it is the first written joint statement from the leaders of two countries in 17 years. And notably, Prime Minister Ishiba mentioned that he comprehensively carries down the preceding administration's positions on historical perceptions, including the 1998 New Korea-Japan 21st Partnership Statement, which is sort of credited by historians as a turning point for a future-oriented relationship between the two nations. So here, coming back to the statement from this past weekend, the two countries decided to launch a consultative body to jointly deal with common issues, and that includes the low birth rate, aging society, and over-concentration of the population in the capital area, also including future industries like hydrogen and AI.
I see. Well, what about in terms of security tasks?
So the two leaders said they saw eye to eye on complete denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula and also permanent peace. And they also agreed to continue cooperation on North Korean policy as well as North Korean approach through dialogue and diplomacy. They also agreed to collaborate for a successful APEC summit in Gyeongju this fall, as well as a trilateral Korea-Japan-China summit due to take place in Japan.
Yes.
And Prime Minister Ishiba hosted a state dinner. And, these state dinners are not just about dinners, but kind of the menu is very much symbolic of cooperation. Well, the dinner menu was andong 찜닭, the kind of spicy chicken dish from President Lee's hometown, Andong, and Andong Soju, the alcoholic beverage. And there was also curry, which is said to be Prime Minister Ishiba's favorite food, so much so he has his own curry dish that he's invented.
Okay.
So that was supposed to be kind of a symbolic get-together of the two leaders' favorite dishes.
Yes.
Also, National Security Advisor for South Korea, Wi Sung-rak, said that the two leaders and their spouses moved on to tea time and heightened their personal relationship and trust.
Yeah, so that's what happened in Japan. Well, in the opening, I obviously talked about the preparations for the South Korea-U.S. summit upcoming very soon. But North Korea has also been issuing messages ahead of the summit.
Right, and that has not been one of hospitable, friendly relations, rather hostile. So the vice chair of North Korea's Army General Staff Department, Ko Jung-chul, issued a statement urging the South to immediately halt or stop dangerous provocations that are allegedly happening on the southern side of the border. So what he's referring to is this incident on August 19th, which he disclosed via this statement, where he said South Korea soldiers, and he dubbed them war maniacs, allegedly fired about a dozen warning shots against North Korean soldiers who are working on the border. And apparently the North Korean soldiers were installing what were called permanent barricades on the border. So Ko said that the work being done there was to secure a stable environment and was not threatening to anyone, according to his claims. And they've apparently informed of the job taking place to the U.S. forces stationed in Korea, but it seems not to South Korea at least. So South Korea stated that it was upon the soldiers, North Korean soldiers, that crossed the military demarcation line that they fired warning shots, and the soldiers moved northward after the shots were fired. By the way, this statement was issued via the Korea Central News Agency, the KCNA, which is the media outlet for North Korea aimed for outside the country. But at the same time, Pyongyang issued a different statement about the same incident from the military spokesperson on its more domestic-geared outlets. So it kind of shows that Pyongyang is drawing attention to this incident both domestically and internationally ahead of the South Korea-U.S. summit.
Right. And actually, as South Korea has been taking down the border area speakers, North Korea was seen putting up more.
Right. So again, another symbolic gesture from South Korea being met with maybe hostilities from the north. So South Korea's Joint Chiefs of Staff, they confirmed installations of additional loudspeakers on the northern side of the border. So it seems that 2 additional speakers were installed on Thursday. But this is after South Korea took down all of its propaganda speakers earlier this month. And at that time, the JCS had reported that they saw North taking down some of the speakers on its side.
Yes.
However, after that, North Korea's Kim Yo-jong said that they have not and have no intention of removing the speakers. So it seems that at that time, they took down 2 of the speakers, perhaps for maintenance. They put 1 immediately back up. And as they put up 2 additional ones last week, it seems that North Korea has overall added 1 more speaker.
I see. So that's what's happening along the border. Now, moving on, the Lee Jae-myung government has announced its blueprint for economic growth, so we need to know the details.
All right, so we're going to move on to a fully domestic issue because the Lee government issued a 30 leading projects blueprint to focus on technological innovation led by corporations. So here they said future growth will focus on convergence to artificial intelligence, AI, across both private and public sphere, with the government playing a proactive supporting role with finance, tax, personnel, regulation, and other support measures. So the ultimate goal is to reach 3% rate of potential growth. So Finance Minister Koo Yoon-chul led the joint government briefing this last Friday to announce the government's 5 years plans. So this is, by the way, a semi-annual presentation, so we get 2 each year. Previous plans, they've always focused on supporting the livelihoods of the people as well as growth. However, what's notable and different this year is that it's really focusing on this technology-led growth.
I see. So some experts say that this is in recognition of the country's stagnant growth.
Right. So unfortunately, we have seen quite a bit of slow growth in the past few years, but also slowed momentum. So the government projected this year's growth to be at 0.9%, so not even at 1%, which is a huge drop from 2% last year.
Yes.
So, of course, this is amid external issues like Trump's tariffs, however, with internal growth as well. So the government admitted that the country is currently hard-pressed to find an industry or industries that can support and really drive the economy. And that this era, the current era of AI convergence, is ample opportunity to leap into a country that leads this change and saw the next 5 years as sort of this golden time to do so. So to that end, the government presented top 4 policy directions, including technology-led growth, a growth for everyone, fair growth, and strengthening the foundation for sustainable growth.
Right, and so this comes with massive spending on research and development, right?
Right, so President Lee Jae-myung also on Friday, he presided over an advisory meeting on the national science and technology issues.
Right.
So here he announced an investment for the future to what he says was to correct the mistakes of the previous government. So here he's referring to the massive R&D budget cuts from the last administration.
Sure.
So to that end, this government's R&D budget for next year has been set at 35.5 trillion won, which would actually be the biggest ever in the history of the country.
Oh.
So President Lee said the country's science and technology, they went back. They had kind of been withdrawn for the last 3 years and criticized those R&D funding cuts. And Lee said that this budget is a bold decision to invest in the future of the country and reflect the government's will and willingness to leap into this leader in science and tech field.
Yes, yes. So thanks for reporting on the economics. Now we're going to go back to that Jackson Hole symposium and the U.S. Fed chair's speech. We mentioned this last week, so we need to know what happened.
Right. So we finally know what Fed Chair Jerome Powell said. So, by the way, Jackson Hole is this annual meeting by the U.S. Federal Reserve where they get together, discuss basically financial policy for the U.S. Central Bank for the coming year. And investors, their ears are really, really finely tuned to this speech.
Yes.
So, in short, Fed Chair Jerome Powell hinted at a rate cut next month, coming in September. So, basically, it outlines the U.S. Central Bank's policy and outlook. So, Powell actually noted both Trump's policies and inflation in his speech, which are, of course, two of the biggest issues facing not only U.S. economy, but the global economy.
Yes.
So he stated that risks from inflation remain tilted to the upside. Basically, it is sort of still going up, but it's unclear. And that the tariff-related inflation pressures are clearly visible. And actually, he added that the effects will continue to build over the coming months, and there was still high uncertainty about the timing and amounts.
Okay.
There are, of course, job figures and inflation figures to be announced between now and when the Federal Reserve makes its next rate cut or freeze decision. But at least upon this speech, at this hint of a potential rate cut, U.S. stocks actually soared in optimism on Friday. So, yeah, we'll have to see about that.
Yes, yes. Well, thank you for going over all the top news, and we'll check in with you in hour number 2. Thank you, Haley.
See you in a bit.
We are ready for our first song break. So this is 후라이의 꿈 by 악뮤.
저 거위도 벽을 넘어 하늘을 나를 거라고 달팽이도 넓고 거친 바다 끝에 꿈을 둔다고 나도 꿈을 말고 꿈을 찾으래 어서 남의 꿈을 빌려 꾸기라도 해 내게 강요하지 말아요 이건 내 길이 아닌걸 내밀지 말아요 너의 구겨진 꿈을 난 차라리 흘러갈래 모두 높은 곳으로 볼 때 난 내 물결을 따라 Fall so long so long away 난 차라리 꽉 눌러붙을래 날 재촉한다면 따뜻한 밥 위에 누워자는 계란 fry 같이 나른하게 fry 고래도 사랑을 찾아 파도를 가를 거라고 다 못해 내 모두 꿈을 꾸는데 아무도 꿈이 없는 자에게 기회를 주지 않아 하긴 무슨 기회가 어울릴지도 모를 거야 무시 말아줘요 하고 싶은 게 없는 걸 왜 그렇게 반한 죄 지은 게 아닌데 난 차라리 흘러갈래 모두 높은 곳으로 볼 때 난 내 물결을 따라 Fall so long away 난 차라리 꽉 눌러붙을래 날 재촉한다면 따뜻한 밥 위에 누워자는 계란 fry 같이 틀에 갇힌 듯한 똑같은 꿈 난 이 두꺼운 껍질을 깨고 나와 허지고 싶어 난 차라리 굴러갈래 끝은 안 보여 뒤에서
Welcome back, everybody. I'm going to read a few of your responses to our text topic today. Today, we're talking about regional specialties or souvenirs that you like to kind of maybe get or collect when you travel and vice versa. What would you recommend if someone comes to visit your hometown? So first up, we have Yogesh who says, my hometown is London, so fish and chips. But he says he originates from India, so butter, chicken, and naan. Oh, it indeed sounds really, really yummy. So food is definitely your thing, it seems. Benny, who says, oh, Manila's specialties. I would say some great souvenirs like refrigerator magnets, mangoes, and he says the dried ones from Cebu. And those are very popular. A lot of people who travel to Cebu or the Philippines, they bring back the mangoes. And so that's what he says. I also saw William on the board who says, I recommend freshly baked sourdough bread from my hometown of San Francisco. Oh, I have to agree with you. When I visit San Francisco, it's always, I forgot the name of the restaurant. But anyhow, it's a particular restaurant where they have the sourdough bread. The inside is taken out and they put in the clam chowder soup. PD님, you know, right? If you know, you know. So delicious. I mean, getting hungry just thinking about it. But yes, thanks for sharing some of your thoughts. And I will read more of your messages, but we're going to get to Cultural Interlude with Michael. It's time for Cultural Interlude, and we have Michael Kang in the studio. Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, how was your weekend? It seemed you were very busy. I saw your social media posts. So
Yeah.
very busy, right?
Yeah, so this weekend I had to, so it was our first day of doing a musical that I made.
By the way, congratulations.
감사합니다.
What's the name of it?
It's called Veronica.
Veronica.
And it's based on a novel, actually, I think novel of the very similar title. 베로니카 죽기를 결심하다. You know? So, very busy. Yeah, I think I had like 3 hours of sleep yesterday, but still good. It's always nice to be here at BFM.
Oh, thank you. And congratulations.
감사합니다.
We wish you the best,
감사합니다.
of course.
It's done, finally. 끝났다. Dobie's free.
Yes. Hey, so for a text topic today, are there certain like souvenirs you like to collect, or maybe something you would recommend from Busan to people who are, visiting?
Oh, from Busan.
Yes.
Or
vice versa when you travel. Like some people love collecting like, postcards, magnets.
Yeah.
There are certain things, right?
Yeah, so I do a lot of magnet collecting. So like everywhere, because I travel abroad frequently.
Yes.
I would go to, the first thing that I would buy at a local airport or something is like the magnets always, right? So I would definitely recommend buying magnets and those cups from 별다방.
Ooh.
You know what I mean? Because I buy them a lot. And it's always nice to find one of those cups in other regions outside of the country, with different names on it.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like just putting them together at, in my kitchen and just looking at them just makes me feel good.
Oh, really? It
Yeah.
makes you feel content.
And it's like a sign that I've been to a lot of places and I'm proud of it,
Yeah, as you should be. Well traveled. Well, we're going to jump into cultural interlude. So what are we talking about today?
Yeah, so this year, South Korea marks the 80th anniversary of its liberation from Japanese colonial rule. So I think we've talked about this before. On August 15th, we celebrated the 80th anniversary or the 80th Liberation Day anniversary. And we talked about it. And while political and historical disputes still loom large, there's one bridge that has endured, and that is culture. Culture. Yes. And across the decades, the cultural corridor linking Seoul and Tokyo has only widened, fueled by a shared appetite for each other's music, dramas, films, and fashion. What once began as a one-way wave, the so-called Korean wave or Hallyu, in the early 2000s, has now become a two-way street. So streaming platforms, concerts, and social media have amplified this exchange, bringing audiences in both countries closer than ever.
Well, Japan is sometimes perceived by people as being kind of a very difficult market to
That's true.
kind of enter, to penetrate. So culture is seen as no exception.
Yeah.
So we need to know first, like, how did Hallyu, Korean wave, make its way into Japan?
This is a very interesting question. So many people trace the first big crest of Hallyu in Japan back to 2003. So that's like 22 years ago. Wow. That was the year the Korean TV drama Winter Sonata. 기억하십니까? Do you remember this?
Yes.
Very, very famous, popular drama television series. Got aired on NHK affiliated channels, a Japanese television show. It quickly became a sensation, and its star Bae Yong-jun, we remember him, affectionately known as Yonsama, turned into a cultural icon. This brings me back memories. So before Winter Sonata, Korean exports like the blockbuster film Shiri. Do you remember this? Shiri?
Yes.
Yes. Oh my goodness, like memories. And the singer Pua had found success in Japan, but it was Winter Sonata that ignited a genuine cultural phenomenon. So fans traveled to Korea to visit filming locations, merchandise flew off the shelves, and Korean TV dramas found a permanent home in Japanese living rooms. And there were even games that got published on Nintendos. Yeah, like just
really?
Yeah. Basically a Winter Sonata game. Yeah, and
popular.
Yeah, it was that popular.
Yes.
So following its success, series such as 대장금, this was also a big hit, and You're Beautiful and My Love from the Star, I think it's called 별그대 in Korean, right? Short, dedicated Japanese audiences. So at first, Korean dramas were most popular among women in their 50s and older, but the 2020 hit Crash Landing on You, we also remember this, streamed on Netflix, and it broke generational barriers and brought in younger viewers too.
So in the beginning, it was very much kind of like a niche market.
Yeah.
Certain people of a certain generation or age really liked Hallyu. And then now it's grown where it's crossing age barriers as well.
Yes, exactly.
Right. So now I have to say, because, you talked about films and TV shows, but it's all about K-pop these days, right?
Yes, that's true. And you talk about niche markets, and I think before this K-pop boom happened, I think it was I think Korean wave or Hallyu focused mostly on films and TV shows. But now it's gotten a lot bigger, and it went beyond that. Now it's more about K-pop. So by the late 2000s, the spotlight shifted to K-pop, and groups like TVXQ, or I think it's called 동방신기. Yes, right? Girls' Generation, Kara, SHINee, and Big Bang sold out massive concerts, including landmark shows at Tokyo Dome, which is a very symbolic place for successful artists to hold their, gigs there.
Yes.
These weren't just concerts, they were basically cultural events, cementing pop culture as a driving force in grassroots exchanges between the two countries. Even when political ties soured in 2012 over the Dokdo Islets dispute, Japanese fans stayed loyal. Unlike China, which cut off Korean entertainment imports during political tensions, Japanese audiences continue to embrace Korean music and drama.
I see.
The third generation of K-pop, led by groups like Twice and BTS, but let's not forget, they are already becoming one of the older generations now. We have a new generation coming up, right? But, just as an example, they already brought this fresh surge in Hallyu, the Korean wave. So BTS, in fact, became Japan's top-selling act in both 2021 and 2022, outperforming even domestic artists.
Wow. So what strides have been made over the years, right? It happened very gradually, not overnight. But this culture exchange between Korea and Japan, like you said earlier, it's not a one-way street anymore. So Japanese culture is making headway into Korea as well.
That is also true. And as a, Japanese anime fan myself. You know, I have a lot of things to talk about.
Yes.
But yeah, so for years, the flow of culture seemed mostly one-sided, Korea to Japan. But more recently, Japanese culture has made strong inroads into South Korea. Back in 1998, so that's about when I started reading Japanese mangas or Japanese animes. So this is what happened. Back in 1998, President Kim Dae-jung's government began lifting restrictions on Japanese imports. And that means films, then comics. So this was when I start, seeing a lot of Japanese like comic books entering bookstores. And as a young kid,
yes.
I could really feel that something was changing, right?
Okay.
And there was also music coming in from Japan to Korea. At the time, there were fears that Japanese pop culture might overwhelm Korea's domestic industry, but those concerns have long faded. In fact, with Korea's own content booming worldwide, audiences have grown more open to Japanese culture.
Interesting.
Yeah. So here are some examples. I'm sure a lot of you know this or recognize this. Animated films like the first Slam Dunk and Suzume packed Korean theaters in 2023. Meanwhile, Japanese artists like YOASOBI, Aimyon, and Imase have climbed Korean charts as well. Heavyweights such as Gen Hoshino, Mrs. Green Apple, and King Gnu are drawing Korean fans to live concerts. And the exchange has gone deeper. So now, many Japanese performers have actually joined K-pop groups.
That's true.
Yeah. Twice's Mina, Sana, and Momo. And Le Sserafim's Sakura and Kazuha are just a few high-profile examples.
Yes, yes. So this is how I believe, Korean and Japanese cultures kind of meet, and this type of collaboration is also being seen across many other genres. Is that correct?
Yes. So it's not just about, I guess, yeah. So mostly these days, Korean wave is being led by K-pop, and we cannot deny that. And the cultural exchange between Korea and Japan mostly rests on music these days. But there are still other collaborations in other genres, and I'm talking about the screen or the film industry right here. So Korean actor Choi Jong-hyuk recently starred in the Japanese drama I Love You, and Netflix is preparing a new Japanese original called Chocolate Romance, featuring Korean and Japanese leads and a joint production crew.
Wow. Okay.
Studio Dragon, which is one of Korea's leading drama studios, notes that Japanese broadcasters are increasingly eager to localize Korean intellectual property. So for Japanese audiences, Korean drama has become familiar and even comfortable. So what I'm talking about here is that, now we're not, so many of the Japanese productions as well as the audience are beginning to perceive Korean dramas and series not only as something that's Korean, but something that's their own. And I think this is one of the important things that we cannot, avoid or, and I think there are some elements that come from Japan to Korea that also Korean audiences begin to perceive as their own as well. And I think this is the essence of Korea-Japan cultural exchange.
Yes.
And how these cultures are intermingling to create something that's new. So we're talking about synergy right here.
Yes, yes. So what do you think is a way forward for culture exchange between the two countries, obviously, Korea and Japan?
So I think there are many concerns, but also, many cultural critics see a very bright future as well. So I guess one of the concerns could be basically the political tension that still exists between Korea and Japan when it comes to history and everything. But we have a new administration that came in, Lee Jae-myung government, and they are making headway in terms of, creating a new and futuristic, future-oriented relationship with Japan, right? And they recently had their summit, and things look good in the political sphere, at least for now. And I guess in that respect, as I said before, cultural critics see a brighter future for Korea-Japan cultural exchange.
Yes,
So
yes.
in the past, barriers to Japanese culture in Korea included government policy. And this I talked about, for example, Kim Dae-jung government. Before 1998, there were restrictions on Japanese imports, including film and music.
Sure.
And there are still, as I mentioned before, lingering resentment and even a sense of cultural inferiority. But today, those obstacles have largely disappeared. Korea's confidence on the global stage has grown alongside the Korean wave, or Hallyu. As South Korea celebrates 80 years since liberation, culture, so whether it's K-dramas streaming in Tokyo or Japanese anime playing in Seoul, culture continues to bridge divides that politics cannot. So going forward, the cultural exchange between the two nations seems destined not only to endure, but to thrive. So opening new windows to each other's lives, dreams, and imagination. So, I personally look forward to, having more of those cultural exchanges in the future between Korea and Japan. And as a, composer myself,
yes.
I do get to, recently I've been, engaging more frequently in doing these kind of cultural exchanges with Japan as well. And it's exciting because this is something that I've never experienced before. The things are changing and new things are happening. And I think that's what's very exciting about the art industry in Korea and Japan.
Yes. Well, we have a couple comments that have come up in relation to what you're talking about. First, we have 고수님 who says, 확실히 옛날에는 일본의 문화가 세계적으로 인지도가 높았던 것 같은데 지금은 확실히 우리나라가 인지도가 훨씬 높은 것 같아서 자랑스럽습니다. So in his opinion, he's saying, I in that sense, I agree too. Like especially when it comes, growing up in the States, like every single electronics. Everything was very Japan heavy. Yeah. And then gradually, this is not to say one country is better than the other, but there was a point where I realized, hey, I see more Korean brands than Japanese brands. So I can understand that, a sense of pride.
And I guess I would call this, I do, so yeah, as you said, it's not about who's superior, who's inferior.
No.
I think it's a matter of exposure. That's what I think. Back then, Japan had more exposure in the international community.
Oh, sure.
Right? And Korea, coming... they were still doing. They were still, being heavily focused on economic development,
right.
And basically getting out of the Korean War, right? And I think in that regard, this exposure that now we get as Koreans, and the speed of which we got this exposure is it was very fast.
Yes.
Compared to Japan, and that's what makes me as a Korean very proud for all those artists and musicians and the people in the art industry in Korea to make this happen.
Right.
It's just amazing.
It is.
Yeah.
And definitely the culture for and from each country so unique, but at the same time, as you're saying, collaboration and cooperation makes sometimes things even better. So
definitely.
Right. Well, I want to thank you so much for coming in today and providing us a very insightful look at the bridge between Korea and Japan. As you said, we marked the 80th anniversary of the liberation of Korea. So we're going to call it a wrap for today. And of course, wishing you the best. We'll check in with you next week.
Yes, thank you.
Everybody, this was Michael with Cultural Interlude. And how about this? Hug by 동방신기. Enjoy. I'll be back at 8.
하루만 네 방의 침대가 되고 싶어 Oh baby 더 따스히 포근한 내 품에 감싸고 재우고 싶어 아주 작은 뒤척임도 너의 조그만 속삭임에 난 꿈속의 괴물도 이겨내버릴 텐데 내가 없는 너의 하루 어떻게 흘러가는 건지 나를 얼마나 사랑하는지 난 너무나 궁금해 되고 싶어 Oh baby 네가 주는 맛있는 우유와 부드러움 네 품 안에서 움직이는 장난해도 너의 귀여운 입맞춤에 나도 몰래 질투를 느끼고 있었나봐 내 마음이 이런 거야 너밖엔 볼 수 없는 거지 누구를 봐도 어디 있어도 난 너만 바라보잖아 단 하루만 아주 지나 너의 애인이 되고 싶어 너의 자랑도 때론 투정도 다 들을 수 있을 텐데 널 위해 In my heart, in my soul 나에게 사랑이란 아직 어색하지만 Oh baby 이 세상 모든 걸 너에게 주고 싶어 꿈에서라도 내 마음이 이런 거야 지켜볼 수만 있어도 너무 감사해 많이 행복해 나 조금 부족해도
Your Bridge to the World. BEFM 부산 영어방송.
기업체 사장님들 아직도 직영으로 식당 운영하고 계십니까? 위탁급식과 도시락 전문 기업 더 좋은 푸드에 맡겨보십시오. 운영비 절감 효과 확실합니다. 식대는 협의 후 맞춰드립니다. 지역 부산 경남 문의 전화 051-784-0877.
한국전쟁 당시 우리를 먼저 도운 에티오피아 6천여 명의 군인들은 자신들의 월급을 모아 부모 잃은 아이들을 위해 고아원이라는 고아원도 세워주었습니다. 그러나 지금 에티오피아는 위기에 처해 있습니다. 끊이지 않는 내정과 기후재난으로 대부분의 의료시설은 파괴되었고 의약품도 부족해 간단히 치료할 수 있는 질병으로 사망에 이르는 상황입니다. 바로 지금이 우리가 에티오피아에 진 빚을 갚을 때입니다. 지금 전화해주세요. 후원 문의 080-982-0119 국제구조위원회.
깨끗한 공기, 편리한 교통, AI로 연결된 세상까지 일상의 모든 순간 그 중심에 과학이 있습니다. 작은 호기심이 세상을 바꾸고 불가능을 가능으로 만드는 힘, 과학. 부산이 과학기술 혁신도시로 도약하고 있습니다. 과학기술, 산업, 고등교육이 파동치는 혁신도시 부산. 과학으로 한 걸음 앞서가는 부산이 대한민국의 미래를 이끕니다. 변화와 도약을 이끄는 중요한 한 걸음. 일상에 보이지 않는 곳까지 새로운 가능성을 찾아갑니다. 비스텝, 비더스텝. 이 캠페인은 부산의 과학기술, 산업, 고등교육 혁신을 선도하는 부산과학기술고등교육진흥원이 함께합니다.
혹시 지금 운전 중이신가요? 어린이 교통사고 피해자 수는 지난 3년 평균 약 9만 명. 특히 어린이 보호구역 안전기준이 강화된 이후에도 어린이 보호구역 내 사고는 지속적으로 발생하고 있습니다. 스쿨존에서는 반드시 시속 30km 이하 서행, 스쿨존 내 불법 주정차 금지, 차량 출발 전 앞뒤 좌우 살피는 습관으로 어린이가 안전한 도시를 만듭니다. 참, 운전 중 휴대전화 사용은 모두에게 위험합니다. 우리 모두를 위한 교통안전, 나부터 실천하면 모두가 안전해집니다. 어린이가 안전하게 뛰어놀 수 있는 부산. 아이 키우기 좋은 도시는 우리 모두의 미래이자 희망입니다. 이 캠페인은 어린이가 안전한 부산을 만드는 은행, B&K 부산은행과 함께합니다.
김밥가게 박 사장님도, 문구점 김 사장님도, 우리 부산의 경제를 움직이는 사람들. 우리 동네 작은 가게로 향하는 발걸음이 우리 부산의 경제를 키워가는 한 걸음입니다. 부산 방송광고 발전 협의회.
The time is now 8 o'clock.
It's now 8 o'clock. This is hour number 2 of Morning Wave in Busan. This is Spotlight News. President Lee Jae-myung arrives in U.S. for summit with Trump. President Lee Jae-myung has arrived in Washington, D.C. ahead of his planned summit with U.S. President Donald Trump, scheduled for tonight, Korea time. He's expected to spend the rest of the day preparing for the summit. He wrapped up a 2-day trip in Japan where he sat down with Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba, focusing on strengthening Seoul-Tokyo cooperation in face of rapidly changing international order. A business delegation comprised of Samsung Electronics Chair Lee Jae-yong, SK Group Chair Choi Tae-won, LG Group Chair Gu Kwang-mo, and Hanwha Group Vice Chair Kim Dong-wan have also arrived in Washington, D.C. National Assembly passes pro-labor yellow envelope bill. The National Assembly passed a controversial pro-labor yellow envelope bill, which expands workers' rights in a 183-3 vote after a filibuster. This revision of the Labor Unions Act guarantees the bargaining rights of subcontracted workers and bans companies from filing lawsuits for damages against unionized workers, drawing opposition from business groups. The Ministry of Employment and Labor said it will form a task force to gather input from the labor and business sides and provide systematic feedback in the 6-month period before the law goes into effect. Special counsel files for arrest warrant against Han Duck-soo. The special counsel led by Cho Eun-suk has filed an arrest warrant against former Prime Minister Han Duck-soo for his alleged aiding and abetting of former President Yoon Suk-yeol's martial law declaration. The counsel said that Han faces charges of abetting an insurrection, perjury, creating a false public document, and violating the Presidential Records Act. An official from the special counsel said that Han was the top constitutional office that could have prevented the illegal martial law declaration. The warrant hearing is expected to take place tomorrow or Wednesday. Presidential envoy visits China with letter for Xi Jinping. Presidential Lee Jae-myung's special envoy led by former National Assembly Speaker Park Byung-seok has arrived in Beijing and met with China's foreign minister to deliver Lee's personal letter for Chinese President Xi Jinping. The delegation explained to Foreign Minister Wang Yi the government's philosophy and foreign policy. Wang Yi remarked that the day is the 33rd anniversary of South Korea and China's diplomatic relations and expressed hopes for deepening cooperation to improve public sentiment. Park responded that he hopes this delegation's visit will start the work of normalizing the tangled Korea-China relations. President Zelensky vows to fight for freedom on Ukraine's Independence Day. President Volodymyr Zelensky said Ukraine will continue to fight for its freedom and a just peace in an Independence Day address. The remarks come as Russia claims Ukraine has launched drone attacks over Russian power and energy facilities overnight, causing a fire at a nuclear power plant in Kursk. On Sunday local time, both Russia and Ukraine confirmed a prisoner swap involving 146 soldiers from each side that had taken place. And this was Spotlight News. It's time for Wagu Wagu, which means Haley's back.
Hello again.
Yes, yes. Well, our first story, this is a troubling story because a coroner has been arrested for stealing off of a dead body.
Right. So, it's upsetting. Definitely disturbing. So a man in his 50s was found dead in his home last week. So the police were on the scene conducting an investigation into the circumstances and the cause of death. And there were also a medical examiner or a coroner, 검시조사관, on the scene as well. However, the police found out during the course of the investigation that the deceased was wearing a gold necklace, a significant one, but that had gone missing.
Oh.
Right. So they found out via photos because initially when the investigators got to the scene, they took photos of the site. And then later when they were comparing the later photos of the body, they noticed that the gold necklace had gone missing.
Okay.
And this was, again, as I said, a significant one weighing about 20톤, which is about 75 grams.
Oh.
And with this... the gold prices nowadays, that's worth about 10 million won or over 1,000만 won.
Oh, so how did they find out who took it?
Right, so thankfully because they had photo proof, given the circumstances, the police deemed that one of the officers or one of the insiders that were on the scene must have taken it. So they summoned 4 police officers and the coroner for questioning.
Yes.
It turns out that the coroner turned himself in and said he wanted to confess, leading to an urgent arrest. So the coroner said that he took the necklace off the body while the police officers were outside conducting investigations there and snuck the necklace out in his shoe. The police found the necklace in the coroner's home underneath the kitchen sink, so it seems that he tried to hide it. It was in a plastic bag. The police did file an arrest warrant against the coroner. However, the Incheon Regional Court turned that down yesterday, saying that given the circumstances and the evidence, along with the suspect's attitude in the questioning, he does not pose a flight risk. Also, at the same time, the deceased family members, they don't want to press charges.
Oh. Still, nonetheless, illegal and unprofessional in every
especially
regard.
from someone a medical examiner,
right?
Who should hopefully have more respect towards the body.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's well known that U.S. authorities caught the infamous gangster Al Capone, but actually it was on tax evasion rather than other
Murder.
crimes,
Right.
Well, a con man was caught for something very minor.
A cigarette butt.
Oh.
담배꽁초. Right, which is an important reminder to, not defraud people, but also not to litter.
Yes.
Yeah. So this happened in Seoul. A man on the streets of Seoul in Gwanak-gu district, Sillim, threw away a cigarette butt on the morning of August 20th.
Yes.
And then out of the corner of his eye, he spotted the police. Oops. Well, I mean, of course, anyone, you jaywalk, you litter, and you see the police, you're like, oh no. Oh. Uh-oh. But he panicked even more than kind of the normal amount and started hurrying away. The police thought that was really suspicious. They caught up with him. And then the man was like, can you please just let me go this one time? 봐주세요. And then try to get into a cab. So that got even more suspicious. The police asked for ID. And instead of giving them the ID, he tried to bribe the police. Which is... in this day and age, that's so sus. So he even pretended that he got a call. And he pulled the fake phone call method. And so basically pulled every move in the book to try to get away. So there's no way the police were going to let him go at that point. They actually confirmed that he is a wanted man on 10 charges, including assault and fraud.
Oh my goodness. So what did he allegedly do?
Right. So he's suspected of having taken 17.7 billion won from 1,300 people from a crypto scam back in 2018 and 2019. So this is a while ago. So he's definitely kind of a pioneer in the field, and he's been on the run for the past 5 years. So the police, after catching him, passed the case on to Seoul's Nambu prosecution, which had been investigating the case for the past 5 years. So yeah.
Wow. So that's a doozy of a second story, and also Tommy commenting. That's why we should quit smoking.
Yeah, I'm telling you, this is why you should not litter. And also, while you're
Yes.
at it, quit smoking.
Exactly.
Yes.
Let's move on for now. Italy has been under a severe heat wave, so much so that a tour guide died while on the job.
Right. So a 56-year-old tour guide collapsed in the Coliseum on Tuesday of last week, local time, at 6 p.m., which is, in Korea, we usually say noon to about 5 p.m. is the hottest hours. However, in Rome, the sunset isn't until about a little bit closer to 8. So this is still under blazing heat in the summer.
Yes.
So tourists and officials on the scene, they tried to revive her. She couldn't be revived and died on the scene of suspected heat-related causes.
Yes.
And here's the thing, though. It seems that this isn't an outlier. And instead, concerns have been persisting for weeks. So for one, the World Federation of Tourist Guide Associations, they warned that extreme heat, that is no longer an exception. It's a reality and demands attention, adaptation, and solidarity within the profession.
Yes.
So what that means is basically tour guides are kind of forced, because this is their livelihood, to conduct these tours in the blazing heat. And if you've ever been or seen photos of the Colosseum and also the Foro Romano, it's just an open space.
Right.
There are no shades. And after her death, Italy's Certified Tour Guides Association said that this death was proof of the physical toll that guides are taking on the body.
They're actually urging for changes.
Right. So what kind of changes could be there? Because, I mean, you can't do anything about the weather, the sun.
True.
However, there are comments that you can do something about the opening hours of the Coliseum. The groups called on authorities to change these opening hours so they can go in earlier in the morning and also later in the evening.
Yes.
So right now in the in the summer, spring to fall season, the Coliseum is open from 8:30 in the morning until 7:15. Again, 7:15 in the summer would be when the sun is still quite high. So the tourism guide groups are saying that it's useless to talk about a heat emergency every year, as if that were something new.
True.
That climate change has been ongoing for years, and working at the Roman Forum from 10 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. has been unbearable. And apparently this call for change has been taking place for years and years.
Okay.
So the association says that, in their words, paltry pensions, is very poor, meager pensions and economic uncertainty. These all forced many of the members to have to work these hottest hours. And also, I mean, if you think about it, for the tourists, that's brutal to be on their feet, walking around between these times. So Italy's culture minister, Alessandro Giuli, said that her death powerfully underscores the human and professional value of those who every day contribute to the protection and preservation of the historical and artistic heritage. So we're going to have to see if these changes do come, but that's definitely, as you know, Europe has been, we report every year, Europe's under this massive heat wave.
That's right.
Wildfires along with the rest of the world. But climatologists do say that Europe has been taking on quite a heavy burden from climate change. So really showing that climate change affects really every industry.
Yes, it does. All right. For our final story, one of the most in-demand souvenirs in South Korea, well, currently at the National Museum, and hence our text topic.
Right. So we're ending on a lighter note here.
Okay.
So Gukjungbak, right, the National Museum of Korea, that is on the travel list of many people. It's been on my personal travel list for years before it was popular, but I don't think I can go now. Have you seen photos of the lines?
Yeah.
It's like speaking of stifling, I'm
Yes.
like, no.
Yeah, it's like hard no on that.
Right. And then the number of people, of course, those people, they sometimes book it to the 사유예방, one of the most famous heritage, but then
Right.
also to the museum shop because MUDs, MUDS, or museum goods, or the merchandise at the National Museum, are the hottest hot commodity right now. And by the way,
Yes.
we're not advertising them. They don't need our advertisement. If they want to advertise via us, call
Go
us.
ahead.
Yes. So this is a combination of the unique, very beautiful aesthetic design, reasonable prices, especially compared to, again, some European museums, and timing, this explosive popularity of K-culture, and on top of that, K-pop demon hunters, really
Yes.
highlighting the traditional aspect. So according to the National Museum of Korea, the number of visitors from January to August 20th, that came to 4 million. 73,000. That's 1.7 times the figure from same period last year. And also sales for Mutes, the museum shop, for the first 7 months of the year saw a 58% jump from the same period last year. Compare that to 2 years ago, more than double. The most popular items apparently are these the color changing shot glasses. So this takes a figure from famous artist Kim Hong-do's painting of a drunk scholar, and it's one of those when you pour cold beverage onto it, the face turns red.
Yes.
So he has an Asian glow, if you will. And then there's the 반가사유상, the bodhisattva in pensive position, the miniature figurine, and the Katsi tiger pin that apparently looks like a character from the Netflix show.
Okay.
And that pin sold 38,000 in the last month alone. There's a huge waiting list.
And what's notable is that the museum goes to great lengths to make sure that the products are made right here in Korea.
Right. So apparently about 85% of all Mutes merchandise are made in Korea, and the bodhisattva in pensive position, 반가사유상, entirely domestically produced from the 3D printing all the way to the packaging.
Okay.
So they actually say it's not easy to achieve price competitiveness if everything is manufactured in Korea, especially with the manufacturing sector really getting outsourced in Korea as well.
Sure.
However, the company that produces this figurine says that Mutes has become a really valuable platform for small companies and mid-sized companies in South Korea. And the museum's merchandise planning team also says that the goal is to reach 100% domestic production. And it says that giving these companies opportunities, fostering growth, and promoting Korean culture, that has all come together to a virtuous cycle for everyone.
So hence, it being so popular, all the products, Tommy, follow-up, good quality if you can get it. Sold out in 10 seconds.
Yeah.
I believe you.
I actually went to another national museum in Busan and Gwangju.
Yes.
And they do sell, and by the way, every national museum has different artifacts, so not just a central one. And they do collaborate with local mid-size like artisans and mid-size companies and sell their products as well.
Yes. So get them while you can. Well, thank you for coming in, of course, for wa글와글. We'll check in with you tomorrow. Thank you, Haley.
Have a great day.
All right, everybody, it's time for your traffic and weather. It's time for your traffic update. The Mandakdero looks congested right now from Mandak Cathedral to Mandak intersection with one lane closed off due to construction. Please be aware of this. Next up, it looks backed up on Chungnyeoldero from Minam intersection to Mandak Tunnel number 2. Also, there's traffic on Jungangdero from Seomyeon intersection to Gwangmugyo. And it's looking slow from Yeonsuro from Shili 3-way intersection to Magmi-goge. Currently, it's 28 degrees Celsius under sunny skies in Busan. It's expected to go up to 32 today. Busan City is still under a special heat wave report, Bokyeom-tukbo. Across the nation, it's pretty hot. Some areas going up to 37 degrees Celsius. However, showers are also forecast for most of the country with up to 80 millimeters across 2 days in the capital area. And we're getting messages from people in the capital area saying 비가 너무 많이 와서 젖어서 가요. So please take care of yourselves. This was your traffic and weather. And this is Don't Stop the Music by Rihanna.
Please don't stop the music, music, music. Please don't stop the music, music, music. Please don't stop the music, music, music. It's getting late. I'm making my way over is a private show. Do you know what just started? I just came here to party, but now we're rocking on the dance floor, acting naughty. Your hands around my waist, just let the music play. We're hand in hand, chest to chest, and now we're face to face. I wanna take you away, let's escape into the music. DJ, let it play. I just can't refuse it, like the way you do this. Keep on rocking to it. Please don't stop the music. I wanna take you away, let's escape into the music. DJ, let it play. I just can't refuse it, like the way you do this. Keep on rocking to it. Please don't stop the music. Mama say, 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 mama say. Please don't stop the music. Mama say, 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 mama say. Please don't stop the music. Please don't stop the music. I wanna take you away, let's escape into the music. DJ, let it play. I just can't refuse it, like the way you do this. Keep on rocking to it. Please don't stop the music. I wanna take you away, let's escape into the music. DJ, let it play. I just can't refuse it, like the way you do this. Keep on rocking to it. Please don't stop the music. Mama say, 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 mama say. Please don't stop the music. Mama say, 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 mama say. Please don't stop the music. Mama say, 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 mama say.
It's time for your special interview. You know, a recent survey by the Korea Chamber of Commerce and Industry of 1,200 citizens via the communication platform Sopul found that 7 out of 10 Koreans believe the so-called yellow envelope law could escalate labor management conflicts. The amendment to the Labor Union Act, also known euphemistically as the Yellow Envelope Law, just passed the National Assembly yesterday and will take effect 6 months after the grace period. The legislation has sparked a heated debate across the country. Different groups are taking opposing positions, reflecting deep divisions on this issue. So that's why we're going to take a closer look at this Yellow Envelope Act and why it has sparked so much controversy. Joining us on the line today is Professor Song Se-ryun, Professor of Law at Kyung University. Hi, welcome back, Professor.
Thank you. Good morning.
Yes. So first of all, can you explain what the amendment to Articles 2 and 3 of the Trade Union and Labor Relations Adjustment Act, commonly we're just going to call it the Yellow Envelope Act. What is it and why is it even called, Yellow Envelope?
Right. It has a historical background to it. It comes from a 2014 solidarity campaign from the labor unions when the workers at Ssangyong Motor that staged the protest faced massive damage claims. Civil society groups launched a fundraising drive, and how they did it is that they would send small donations in yellow envelopes to help the workers pay the court-ordered compensations. So that yellow envelope kind of stuck as a kind of symbol, and we started calling it the Yellow Envelope Bill. Now, I'll tell you what the key point is. As you correctly identified, it's an amendment to the Article 2 and 3 of the Trade Union and Labor Relations Adjustment Act. It's a long name. But what it does is that in the Article 2, for example, it broadens the definition of employer so that not only the contracting party, but if the employer in the governance system has the controlling power over the work, then they're qualified as a employer. So, for example, the subsidiary, but if the mother company has a controlling, then they can be directly sued. So that's the point of expanding the definitions.
Yes.
And the Article 3 limits the damages or the damage claims that the management or the company can use against labor union and individual members. So that means the labor union does not have a big concern about being sued in a large amount after the strike.
I see. So hence why this may be so controversial, because it does seem that, this, divide between whether it's the labor unions and the business groups, namely so-called employers, is evident right now. So if we can get into why this is so contentious right now.
Yeah, getting back to the definition of the employers, is contentious because the company will be saying that there will be so many different variations of lawsuits from the labor unions. So given that the function of a corporate law where the liability is limited, they are facing new uncertainties. And the labor unions have a options of who to go after. So even if the subsidiary is the direct contracting partner, but if the mother company has deeper pockets in their minds, probably they could go after that. The definition of employers also in this amendment deals with the definition of employees as well.
Yes.
So the labor unions and the laborers, from their point of view, it would be a expansion to modern labor relations. Now, in addition to traditional manufacturing workforce, you have the gig workers and the franchises and subcontractors and many different forms of laborers. So it's keeping up with the latest trend that we have to identify and protect those workers. But from the management's point of view, it also adds to the uncertainties and the risk levels of their labor relations. So I think that given together, the controversy is there. Well, on the whole, this allows the labor unions to get easier time to sue. I mean, to have a protest and not worry about getting sued in a large amount. So from the management point of view, in turn, would say, well, this would increase the number of protests and it's going to disrupt the productive economic relations between the management and labor. So both sides have the historical arguments and kind of where's the balance of power is between the labor and the management. So in that sense, they both look at it in a sense, the zero-sum game. My gain is your loss, your gain is my loss.
Yes. So thanks for explaining. Professor, in reality, though, I mean, is this, revision, this amendment, a real solution to current labor conflicts, in your opinion?
Well, in my opinion, as I said, if both look at it in zero-sum game, I mean, I don't think it'll improve substantially. I think the direction of the reform has positive points because it includes gig workers and modern the definition of workers. So in that sense, it's progressive. But at the same time, the definition of employers may be introducing too much of uncertainties at this point.
Yes.
So for quite some time, if the court does not step up and interpret what that means, probably the uncertainty could be a hindrance. But as going back to the zero-sum game, I think both parties historically have contentious relationships. But if they can't find how they talk to each other, getting away from how to win over each other.
Yes.
I think that the labor relations in Korea will continue to have a contentious relationship. I think that the labor union, they have now incentives to test the waters and how far they can push. If that's a motivation, probably the management will be in the defensive position and try to minimize the damage. But I think that the constructive and positive relationship between the management and labor is to look for what they can build each other so that the labor relationship is something that is productive in the end.
Also, Professor, I've heard that some foreign companies or foreign invested companies, they have real concerns about the Yellow Envelope Act and how might this affect their business decisions here in Korea?
Right. Foreign investors and also those companies who work with the Korean companies, they will be more satisfied or have ease of mind when things are predictable one way or the other. So I think that going back to the vague term at this point, adding the uncertainty, that would be the minus. And look at it from the foreign investors' point of view. They'll say that, well, the uncertain environment, labor environment, is something that will make us hesitate to invest and hesitate to work with Korean companies simply because they don't know what's going to happen. So in that sense, there is a conservative attitude from the investor's point of view, and that has been the case throughout the history.
Sure.
So I think that this is a time to maybe the court should step up and the government agencies should step up and try to minimize what the uncertainties and unpredictability introduced by this bill.
Yes, yes. And so as we wrap up a conversation today, Professor, in a nutshell, what might we expect in the short to long term?
Yeah, I think that this passage of bill creates a new environment where if the labor union wants to utilize the new legislation, I think, again, they might want to test the waters, try to wage a protest if causes arise and see how far they can push the envelope, so to speak. But from the management's point of view, probably they'll be try to they minimize the damage, so probably they'll hire more lawyers or try to kind of go to government to come up with some kind of guidance to minimize the uncertainties.
Yes.
So all in all, what I'm saying is that there is a murky water going forward because of the legislation. Again, the direction is there. There are positive points. But in order to minimize the uncertainties, rather than just testing the waters and try to use lawyers, they should just dialogue each other and set up a kind of convention and rule that will make both parties satisfied. And I think it requires creativity on the parties on the field, like management and the laborers, rather than resorting to either the legislation or the court orders or political, because over the years we know that the judges are not good managers and government has not been a good participant, especially in the marketplace.
Yes.
To take control and command approach they sometimes take has not been the helping hand for the market system, where the creativity and the cooperation is the key to be productive in their activities.
Well, I want to thank you today for explaining what this Yellow Envelope Act is in length. And of course, wishing you the best. Thanks for the explanation. Thank you, Professor.
Thank you so much.
All right, everybody, this was our special interview, and I do want to apologize for any inconvenience that you may have experienced as there were slight connectivity issues. So I do apologize on behalf of our program. And now we're going to take a song break. This is Mood Indigo by Chizu.
꿈이라도 달콤하기만 하죠. 지금 이 순간 난 순간을 믿어요. When I fall in love with you. 어제부터 난 확신했죠. 매일 그린 그림이 바로 당신이란 걸. 내일은 꼭 얘기할래요. 아무 이유도 없이 보고 싶었다는 걸.
사실 혼자만이 설레었어요. 그대는 아마 언제인지 모르겠지만
앞으로도 많이 궁금해질 것 같아요. 당장이라도 그대를 껴안고만 싶은데 Oh, when I fall in love 그대와 함께 한다면 곧 사라질 꿈이라도 달콤하기만 하죠. 지금 이 순간 난 순간을 믿어요. When I fall in love with you. 사실 조금은 겁이 나요. 우리 영화에도 엔딩이 있을까요? 그대 내 손을 꼭 잡아줘. 같이 걷는 이 길 덕분에 따뜻해요.
좋은 일만 매일 있을 거예요. 날 보며 웃는 그대 그 예쁜 모습처럼
앞으로는 아직 걱정 안 하기로 해요. 난 당장이라도 그대를 껴안고만 싶은데 When I fall in love 그대와 함께 한다면 곧 사라질 꿈이라도 달콤하기만 하죠. 지금 이 순간 난 순간을 믿어요. When I fall in love with you. 늘 그대였죠. 높은 기대로 잠 못 들게 했죠. 왠지 우린 느낌 좋아 부드럽게 당장이라도 그대를 껴안고만 싶은데 Oh, when I fall in love 그대와 함께 한다면 곧 사라질 꿈이라도 달콤하기만 하죠. 지금 이 순간 난 순간을 믿어요. When I fall in love with you.
It's time for News in Depth. We have our newscaster, Claire, in the studio with us. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, so we're going to dive right into our first bit of news.
Yes, sure.
So I hear that we're going to start with some major domestic news. The government has announced a new policy targeting young people's retirement worries. And I understand it's being called the First Youth National Pension Plan. What exactly is this?
So that's right. Beginning in 2027, when a young person turns 18 and joins the national pension for the first time, the government will cover their first 3 months of contributions. The idea is to help young people take their first step into pension enrollment and to reassure that them that the state is invested and in their long-term financial security.
I see. So essentially, this is the government saying, we're going to help you get started. You're not alone in this.
Exactly. And it matters because in Korea's pension system, the length of time you've been enrolled directly affects how much you'll receive later.
Right.
Even a few extra months can make a noticeable difference in the final payout. So this measure is both symbolic and practical.
All right. So we need to know who qualifies for this.
So it will apply to anyone aged 18 to 26 who joins the system for the first time. In fact, the policy even includes a provision for those who might miss the application window. If you don't enroll by age 26 or if you happen to enroll before 18, the government will still grant you 3 months of credited contributions. That way, no one slips through the cracks.
Well, it sounds generous. How many young people are expected to benefit in the first year?
Well, officials estimate around 451,000 18-year-olds in 2027 will be eligible right away. Over time, of course, the number could expand as more young people enroll.
And Claire, I recall hearing that this idea was floated years ago, but didn't have the momentum to move forward then.
Yes, back when President Lee Jae-myung was governor of Gyeonggi province, he tried to introduce a similar initiative, but the health ministry opposed it at the time, worried that wealthier families might abuse the system.
I see. So, in theory, how would they have done that, though?
So through something called the deferred payment system, which is 추후납부 in Korean, basically parents could sign up their children early, then stop paying premiums for years, and later, when those children were middle-aged, pay all the back premiums at once because pensions are calculated on total years of enrollment, not on when the contributions were made. This could have artificially boosted future payouts.
So it was kind of seen as maybe a loophole or maybe even a pension hack.
Exactly. But that loophole has now been closed. Under new rules, people can only back pay up to 10 years of missed premiums, which makes it much harder to exploit. With that change, the health ministry shifted its position and is now fully backing the plan.
So why now? What's driving the urgency?
Well, the numbers. A study by the National Pension Research Institute found that as of 2023, only 24.3% of people aged 18 to 24 were enrolled. For all people in their 20s, it's about 35%. Compare that to the OECD average of around 80%, and Korea looks alarmingly low.
Okay.
The reasons are clear here. Young people are staying in school longer, serving mandatory military service, or struggling to find stable jobs.
Yes.
That means they delay joining the pension, and every year lost now reduces their retirement income later.
I see. So do we know how much that delay can cost them in the future?
Well, the analysts have run the numbers. If someone starts working 5 years later than average and also experiences maybe 10 years of unemployment over the time, their retirement pension could be more than 30% lower than someone with steady contributions. So those missing years add up dramatically.
So that's a great example because it shows you kind of the wide gap. So this policy is partly about, I guess, plugging that early hole.
Yes, and it's also about psychology. For years, many young Koreans have dismissed the pension, saying things like, we'll never see their money anyway. This policy is meant to rebuild the trust, showing that the government will help them get started and that the system is there for them.
Well, I'm curious about the experts. Are they optimistic about this?
Well, they're cautiously, yes. They say the policy could encourage earlier enrollment and raise contribution rates among people in their 20s. Some also suggest complementary reforms like crediting the full military service period as pensionable time, which would really help young men who otherwise lose 2 years of contributions.
I see. So we could see a broader package of reforms maybe down the line?
Indeed. And more than anything, this is seen as the first national level step to restore faith in the pension system for the MZ generation, which is including millennials and Gen Z. If successful, it could be a turning point toward building a stronger, fairer retirement safety net for the future.
Yes, so this is definitely something that could have long-term consequences for the youth. So thank you for covering this. And now we're going to move on to our next item. You know, Busan is in the spotlight this week in particular. Something called Energy Super Week is officially kicking off, so let's go over what's happening.
Yes, this is one of the biggest international gatherings Busan has ever hosted. From today, August 25th to 29th, the city is welcoming ministers, CEOs, researchers, and international organizations for a packed week of climate and energy events.
Right, so this is huge, right?
Absolutely. We're talking about 40 minister-level officials, 50 countries, and roughly 40,000 visitors. It's being described as an unprecedented international event because it links together three major energy meetings and the World Climate Industrial Expo, all happening in the same week across Bexco, Nurimaru APEC House, and Paradise Hotel.
Yes, so let's go through the main events.
Sure, let's start with the APEC Energy Ministers meeting running from today, August 25th to 28th. This one brings together ministers from 21 Asia-Pacific economies. That includes Korea, the US, China, Japan, and many more.
But I noticed you said the word economies rather than countries. Is there a particular reason?
Good catch. APEC deliberately calls them economies instead of countries because its focus is on trade and investment cooperation across the Pacific Rim, not just political borders. And this week, they'll be talking about things like regional energy security and expanding clean energy use.
So now we have a better understanding. What's next?
The second piece is the Clean Energy Ministerial, or CEM, and the Mission Innovation Meetings, or MI, held today, August 25th to 27th at Bexco. These are newer but really influential.
Influential in what way, though?
Well, CEM is about scaling up clean technologies, things like solar, wind, smart grids, and electric vehicles.
Yes.
MI is more focused on research and development, trying to accelerate breakthroughs in new energy technology. Put together, about 30 countries and 500 delegates are attending, from ministers to researchers to business leaders.
Yes, so it is policy, but also involves a lot of science and innovation.
Exactly. And then we have the part that's most visible to the public, the World Climate Industrial Expo, or WCE, that runs from August 27th to 29th at Bexco.
What's the theme there?
Well, this year the theme is Energy for AI and AI for energy. In other words, how artificial intelligence can make energy systems more efficient, and how we can power the energy-hungry world of AI in a more sustainable way. The expo is massive, featuring 560 companies and institutions with more than 400 booths.
Yeah, so it does sound pretty huge.
It is, and it's not limited to exhibits. There are also recruitment fairs, expo consultations for businesses, and cultural highlights like a drone light show at Gwangalli Beach.
So it's like a mix of like business, culture, and also public engagement.
Indeed. Visitors can experience upcycling workshops, a Korea-Japan hydrogen business forum, and other interactive programs. For Busan, the goal is clear: to strengthen its image not just as a trade and tourism hub, but as a global center for green innovation.
Right, so this does sound, once again, like a huge week for Busan, correct?
Yes, and city officials say they hope the outcome this week will ripple far beyond Busan, feeding into climate cooperation, investment, and new green industries that benefit the entire Asia-Pacific region.
Well, once again, such an important week for Busan. So thanks for covering this story. And for our final story, we're going to turn our attention to the Middle East, where the United Nations has issued a grave warning. So what's the situation in Gaza?
Well, the new Integrated Food Security Phase Classification, or IPC, confirms that famine conditions are already present in parts of Gaza. According to the report released 3 days ago, more than 640,000 people are expected to face catastrophic food insecurity by the end of September.
Yes.
That's the highest classification level, IPC Phase 5, meaning widespread starvation and preventable deaths are coming.
That's terrible news. news. How widespread is this expected to get, though?
The analysis shows famine has already taken hold in Gaza Governorate and is projected to spread to other regions in the coming weeks. On top of that, 1.14 million people are expected to be in emergency conditions and nearly 400,000 in crisis levels.
Yes.
Data gaps mean conditions in North Gaza could be just as bad or worse. Aid groups also note that some regions were excluded from analysis because it is now largely depopulated.
I see. Well, we are going to have to end it there for today. But thank you for going over all the details for news in depth. Wishing you nothing but the best, and we'll check in with you real soon.
My
Thank you, Claire.
pleasure. See you next week.
All right, everybody. It is time to wrap up our Monday morning together. And of course, that summit in Washington, all eyes will be on that later tonight, Korea time. We'll report on that tomorrow. Morning Wave in Busan is produced by Choi Ye-ji. We have our assistant producer, Kang Hee-jin. And this is written by Haley Seo. And we have Soo Kim. And I'm your host, Catherine. I'll be back to do it all over again tomorrow. Final song is Lovesick Girls by Blackpink. Wishing you a wonderful Monday. Bye, everybody.
가져도 나뭘 믿고 버티는 거야 어차피 떠나면 상처 조성인 채로 미워하게 될걸 끝장을 보기 전 끝낼 순 없어 이 아픔을 기다린 것처럼 아마 다 잠깐일지도 몰라 우리 무얼 찾아서 헤매는 걸까 But I don't care do it over and over 내 세상 속에 너만 있으면 돼 We are the No love, never my exes, no diamond rings that's set in stone. To the left, better left alone. Didn't wanna be a princess, I'm priceless. A prince not even on my list. Love is a drug that I quit. No doctor could help when I'm lost.